Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. Welcome back. Today is an important day for me. Not really, but an important day because it's my birthday. We're going to do a birthday stream probably this weekend, or like on a YouTube stream and talk about all sorts of stuff with the team. But I really only have time today to do a quick one-off conversation of the David Krejci retirement. Another legend of the game. This time, it's a gentleman who wanted to retire twice. Although it felt like his first retirement wasn't. I don't want to rewrite history. When he retired, it was like, damn, all right, he's gone. And then it just felt like the door was always open. And I was one of those people that kept saying, it just doesn't make sense. He's not going to come back. And then he came back. Either way, second retirement. I think some people are kind of afraid of the Bergeron retirement overshadowing it. But remember, Krejci already got a retirement. He already had the celebration a couple of years ago. So I'm not sure he's worried about that. I don't think the fans should be too worried about that. But it does reawaken a conversation that we have had a few times now. First of all, let's just go through what David Krejci has done, similar to what I did with Bergeron. He was drafted 63rd overall in 2004, back in the day. He is 5th in franchise games played, 13th in franchise goals, 5th in assists, 9th in points, 6th in playoff goals, 2nd in playoff assists, and for franchise playoff points, he is second, tied with Bergeron and Marchand at 128. It is kind of poetic. Marchand's going to go past them, but he was always more of the offensive-minded player anyway. It's poetic to have Bergeron and Krejci tied on playoff points to end their careers. I like it. He led the playoffs in 2011 and 2013 on those Stanley Cup Finals runs, obviously winning one in 2011. He was a 2009 7th Player Award winner. He won the bronze medal at the U18 Championships in 2004, the World Junior Championships in 2005, and the World Championships in 2012 and 22 for the Czech team. Bronze is pretty damn good when you're going up some of these other bigger countries. 3-time Stanley Cup finalist, 1-time Stanley Cup champion. Again, he led the team in scoring that year, led the league in scoring that year in the playoffs. But, of course, did not win the Conn Smythe because one other gentleman also went nuclear, Timmy Thomas. I think his importance to this team really shown, and this isn't going to be something you've never heard of. 2010, the series against Philly in Game 3 when Mike Richards obliterated Krejci to ending his season. We still won that game, 4-1, I believe, and then lost the next 4 straight with a 3-goal lead in Game 7. And there's an argument for we should have been able to win that without Krejci, and I agree. But you could really see us not going much further without our 1C after that series. And then the next year, Krejci comes back. He's, let's say, motivated, and he smokes the Flyers in the second round with 9 points in a 4-game sweep. The only series not to go 7 games on one of the greatest NHL Cup runs of all time, in my opinion. And I think that's actually a pretty fair opinion, because although I'm very biased, and of course I'm going to look at Bruins Cup runs as these unbelievable, unholy, crazy moments, I think you could look at that run and how it went just in general with the Game 7s and the overtimes, the rivalries, and that was just an all-timer. I don't think too many fans are going to go, no, that deserves to be in like your top 15, top 20 all-time Cup runs. I think that's fair. Biased, though. Very biased. I do want to make sure everyone, there's no editing going on with this. We're sending it out. I do want to make sure everyone knows one thing. Now, this is David Krejci's moment. I don't want to take anything away from that. But the next David Krejci is on his way. Lot Mills is going to UMass next year, guys. He's the next David Krejci. I keep saying it, and people keep not paying attention to it. That's not true. I feel like people have responded well. But that's your next David Krejci. I just want you to know that. I want you to feel that with me. I want you to feel that. The conversation that actually has to be had. Because we've already had the retirement conversation on this channel a couple of years ago. We've already talked about basically everything there is to talk about with Krejci. Which, that statement alone is exactly how this has all gone. Through 20 years of him and Bergeron, Krejci has always just been that second guy. Even when he was on our top line, it just felt like, well, Bergeron's taken over, and that's rewriting history a little bit, but you know what I mean. He's always just been a quietly great player. Quietly great. But the rafters conversation. The Bruins retire a lot of numbers. That's pretty obvious. But out of this last 15 to 20 years, we're looking at potentially retiring 4, maybe 5 numbers. Because you have Bergeron and Chara, who are absolute locks, right? You have Marchand, who is starting to make his way towards a lock. He would need a little more, but you're definitely considering it. You have Tuukka Rask, who I know that's controversial, but he does lead the franchise in a lot of stats as far as goaltenders go. And then you have David Krejci. The reasons why you would put David Krejci up there is he ranks in the top 15 of almost every franchise stat you would want in a top 6 center. He basically does. He's a playoff performer, led the league in the playoffs 2011 as our 1C and 2013 as well. Huge reason we won the 2011 Cup. He's consistently been great throughout all those years. There's never really been a moment where Krejci was oftentimes the whipping boy from like your less knowledgeable fans. And this isn't really calling anyone out, but they'd like to find a guy who wasn't flashy and would just shit on him at times. But he was consistently great through virtually his entire career. And he only ever wore the spoke to be. I think he has a pretty good argument to go on the rafters. Pretty good. Not great, not lock, nothing like that, but pretty good. The reasons he shouldn't, he never won a league-wide individual award, like at all, if I'm remembering correctly. And if he did, it wasn't like a major one, I guess. He was never labeled as a superstar or never considered the best player on a team, even though, again, during that 2011 run, he was so unbelievably important. Tim Thomas was still your better player on the team. Like, he was always the second guy. He was the Drew Brees of the Bruins franchise over the last 20 years. Always number 2. Always number 2. And the silliest reason is we're retiring so many fucking numbers. It feels weird. This is the human element. And if you compare it to voter fatigue, then I'm on the side of him being in the rafters. I know it's different than voter fatigue, but I think voter fatigue is bullshit. A guy either deserves it or he doesn't. This is a weird human element because you look at the team and you go, all right, Bergeron and Chara, like definitely in. Do we have Marchand and Rask? Where does Krejci rank amongst those 3? Right now, you would probably have him and Rask together. Although Rask never won a cup. Well, as a starter. So I guess Krejci's ahead of him too. It's a hard kind of conversation. Are we really going to retire 4 or 5 numbers from this one section of our history? Do we want to continue throwing numbers up as frequently as we are? That feels like the human element. For me, it is literally like a 49% versus 51% kind of thing. But I am leaning towards no. I think Krejci is right on the cusp. I think he was a great player. And in the 2010s, if we didn't have him, we weren't winning that cup. And there's plenty of reasons. I don't think you're insane or dumb for wanting Krejci in the rafters. I'm not arguing about this. This is going to come down for a lot of people to maybe. And so that's kind of where I am. I would say he just misses out. There are some comparables up there that you would say, well, if he's in, well, then Krejci has to be in. I get that. I just look at the rafters as such an unbelievable status. Just well and above everyone else in the franchise. You have to be unbelievably top tier. And I think Krejci was great and misses it by that much. That's how I feel about that. It hurts to say. I don't like saying it. Don't like saying it. But he was underrated through his career. He's going to be missed. I'm not as sad about it because, again, he already retired once. We expected this retiring. Nothing here is all that surprising. So, you'll be missed, buddy. You will. It was nice to meet him, too. That was kind of fun. Haven't seen him since, but he has a house down here in South Carolina. It's also a billion degrees down here, guys. Do not visit right now. We're going through a heat wave, and it sucks. But, like I said, it's my birthday, so I got to go unlock the liquor cabinet. Go Bees. Go Bees!